You mentioned you had the Estonian government, they were involved, and you set the bar really high to other countries like Latvia and Poland and so on, who had to involve their governments as well, taking the model because you did it first. Why do you think you do need the governments involved everywhere? Because you're global at the end of the day, and you went to India, Australia, so on. So
I think a lot, particularly when it comes to the crisis, and a lot of the big challenges that we've got here at the moment, again, around responding to climate change, responding to the crisis and so forth, a lot of these require potentially regulatory changes or are limited by current legislation and so forth. So the government needs to be involved. If they genuinely want solutions coming out of these, the government needs to be involved to help teams understand what the limitations are now, but also learn themselves. Firstly, what are the real challenges that people are facing, not what they think they're facing, and also what they need to change to make these solutions possible. Because governments themselves often live within a bubble, right?
Yeah.
And this is why actually the governments themselves would want to get involved in these hackathons or even run them for themselves. It's because at the moment, if I think of Australia, for example, now Australia invests so much in educating its population.
Yeah.
But when we come to big challenges like the crisis, the response from the government was, everybody go home. We're going to fix this, just leave it to us. And Australians think the same sort of way. It's like, okay, cool, this is a government problem. We're just going to wait till they solve it. What a waste. I mean, seriously, you have so many smart people who want to do something. You give them the opportunity, and two things happen. Firstly, they jump out and they create solutions that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And secondly, they learn that they can actually solve problems, and they become far more active citizens. And this is what we see in Estonia, where the whole of society actually rebuilt Estonia post-independence in the early 90s. And so there's this real sort of strong strain of, to coin a phrase, yes, we can, here inside Estonia.
Yeah.
The Estonian community, and in particular the tech and startup community, genuinely believe they can solve really hard problems because they've done it before. And this is what governments should be trying to encourage all around the world in their own communities, in their own societies.
This made me think of, usually hackathons, it's over, a few hours, people don't sleep, they hack something, and then nothing happens after. So how can we, or how do you think, because you have a model and you said 10 solutions have been implemented. How do you think you can push this to the next level, to have the hackathon not just as a time for hackers to hack or developers to develop? Because as you said before, you want people to have an idea and you want skills and vice versa, putting them all together in the same bucket and creating something. How do you think hackathons can create more or be the base for more innovations?
Again, it's one of the challenges we're looking at. So hackathons themselves are just a very short time limited experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So in this space, you have this problem, somebody has this idea for a solution, let's test it as quickly as we can. And this is something that we do as well. We push really hard that they actually build a working prototype, because this is the best way to test whether they can actually solve a problem or not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what happens afterwards is people are exhausted. They come out the back of it feeling inspired, feeling really, really sort of excited about life, and absolutely exhausted. And so they say, you know what, let's come back, let's get back together as a team a week later and work out what to do next. And all the energy drains out of it. And also they now face an uphill battle to get it implemented and get traction in the real world. So what we work on is getting partners, particularly government, but corporate partners, to actually work inside the hackathon, to actually work with the teams, to actually help the teams develop their solutions. So that the partners themselves, the government, they learn from the teams, and they're also ready to start implementing the solutions, if they're valuable, of course, immediately after the hackathon.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is making sure that we have good data coming out of the hackathons. This is something we have to work on a platform basis to make sure that potential partners who aren't in the hackathon, but are actually looking for early stage teams, really cool ideas and so forth, have the visibility of those teams and what they've achieved during the hackathon, so that they can actually jump in and help immediately afterwards. Because hackathon organization teams tend to be pretty small. They don't have the capacity to do all of this work afterwards, which is why it's good to have all those partners lined up. Otherwise, you need a massive organization dedicated to the whole stream. Yeah.
I think we're touching many subjects. So one of them is the community. You reach a massive amount of people in so little time. What are you doing to keep the community together? Because I don't know if it's something you had planned before the global hack that went viral, but it's lots of data as well of, people that you can keep engaged, because at the end of the day, they want to do something, they want to contribute.
You're right. And it's really hard, really, really hard. So when you're talking about planning, we planned absolutely everything to perfection about 5 minutes after we needed it.
Okay.
It was really done so fast that we're still catching up with a lot of the activities. But Kai in particular, who was the main organizer, has been very active in trying to stay close to the teams that came through the hackathon. We've done follow-up coaching for a lot of the teams who wanted it post-hackathon. As I said, we've run the matchathons, the webinars out there. But it's still most of the community is dispersed. So a lot of them actually went on to other hackathons to say that were built on the same model, which is fantastic. And if they can develop from one weekend to the next weekend to get their solutions out there. But most of them have actually, I think, dispersed or just gone on their way. There is no useful platform at the moment that actually supports maintaining this community. And we've had this discussion with some of the key partners as well, who are also wanting to maintain their own communities. And there is no real platform well, maybe there is, but we're not aware of it. Everyone's searching for this platform at the moment where we can actually stay in contact with the members of the hackathons. And the other thing is, we're not looking to spam anybody.
Oh, of course,
so
that I know.
We make ourselves as available as possible. We make it really clear to people that we're here to help as much as we can, but we're not going to be spamming them. So they need to come and let us know what we can do to help them. And this has actually worked with some teams. So in some teams, I'm actually still on the phone to pretty much every week, just working through as they do their business development with governments, as they go and raise investor money and so forth to continue on their projects. But others, have disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, as long as they know they can come back to you at any point in time. That's the main thing. At the end of the day, you don't want everyone. You want to filter those who really want to do something, because again, in March, everyone wanted to help everyone. Like, we were in a beautiful, awesome world, superhuman world. And slowly, we're getting back to reality where each person has his own interest at the end of the day. So it's difficult. It's difficult to keep everyone engaged. But them knowing that you're available, I think, is just the main thing. And I think the Slack channel is still active, or was active, and people would even answer, because I'm on it, not active, but I'm on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Slack channel is definitely still active. And there's actually probably the best place is there's a LinkedIn group for the alumni of the hackathon. And so a number of people have gone into there and can share their ideas and information in there. Or obviously the Facebook group as well. But say that there's just no one place. And man, as you saw, Slack, it gets so noisy in there with so many channels. We had, during the hackathon, we had 13, is that possible? Did we have 13 channels?
Yeah, it's possible. Definitely possible.
So not channels, what do they call them? Workspaces.
Yeah. You did have several ones, yeah.
We just had masses and masses and masses, and trying to keep track of the exploding conversations inside each of them was, again, massive adrenaline rush, and then absolute nightmare. I hate opening Slack these days. I'm still recovering from that. So again, this is something else we need to work on. As I say, Slack has been a fantastic partner, and Zoom as well, in helping us make this all possible. But we've got to find a better way to manage those conversations.
But actually, on another note, on this Slack channel, I think I posted one message, or I liked something. I can't remember what I did, or I didn't do anything. I can't remember. And I found Sim Lepika. I don't know if you know him. He's based in Estonia.
Sim Lepisk?
Yeah, Lepisk, yeah. he found me there because I met him in Turin a few years ago. We were mentoring on the same thing, and he found me there, and we started having a conversation. So yeah, so that was one of the amazing things. Yeah.
Okay, and it is again, it's a wonderful space, but it gets extremely noisy as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, that was the other thing that we found. I think I might have mentioned when we were talking previously, is again, these are wonderful tools for people who are used to using these tools. Mm-hmm. But the ideas and the creativity and the ambition to do something is not just contained within the tech sphere. There are so many people outside. And we did find with a couple of teams in the Global Hack, they weren't able to use Slack. They were just not able to navigate it. And so we had to have side conversations in WhatsApp or other tools to make that possible. So again, this is all just learning, and it's wonderful learning. And I guess I really see the Global Hack, the first one, as a sort of a prototype. That was part of the reason for going quickly as well. Because if we go quickly, people will forgive us for a lot of these technical challenges along the way, and just buy into the energy and the hope that we're trying to create out of it. And next time we go, hopefully we'll have ironed out a lot of these challenges in there and just be able to concentrate more of the value and less entropy in the way that it's done.
Yeah, that's the entrepreneurial spirit. Like, you develop as you go. Otherwise, you plan forever and you never move forward. Exactly. So, exactly. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
And with the Hack the Crisis movement was when we were already, the hackathon had already started, and somebody asked in the middle of it, how long will the pitches be? I was like, well, we normally do 3 minutes, but that's just too long online. So 2 minutes is a 2-minute pitch. And then what happened was, so that worked really well. And off the back of the hackathon, Kai, with some of the support around her, quickly put together a playbook of how we'd done it. Wow, so the tools, the process, how to build it all up and how to run it. And then immediately open sourced that with the idea and created a Slack channel for anybody else who was running a Hack the Crisis hackathon to jump into, to learn and then to share what they learned. And asked them to contribute also to the playbook to show what they did that they thought was better than all this. And then the Germans, who, as I said, they had 45,000 people or 42,000 people, the numbers sort of changed, participating in the Slack channel or the Slack workspace. So not all of them were actually, I think, creating projects, but there were lots of observers in there, like there were with the Estonian one as well.
Yeah.
But still, that's a phenomenal amount of people to have to manage. And they went from a team of, I believe they said something like 4 to 100 in 24 hours to manage this hackathon. And so they also shared in a video presentation and Q&A exactly what they'd done to adapt to these changing circumstances. So this is a lot of this information that sort of has been shared and then improvements built on top of it. So yeah, come back this time next year, we'll be doing this perfectly. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.